July 2025, the United States of America is officially 249 years old. This is the second stream of the day. I want to go over the latest on the big, beautiful bill signing by number 47 on 4/7 in the latest 47 ritual. Notice it's 3.3 trillion. The bill. What else from the Masonic City, right? Where they study the 47th problem of Euclid and venerate the number 33. But yeah, we're going to go more into that. And we talked about the flood in Texas today. I looked into this tiny town that got devastated. It is remembered for the Texas Revolution. And you'd never believe it, but today on the date that can be written 4/7 or 7/4, like 74. Today is 74 days after the anniversary of the end of the Texas Revolution. The event that most of you know from the Texas Revolution is the Alamo. The Alamo was part of that. But yes, today is 74 days after the anniversary of the end of the Texas Revolution. And if you're new here, this 74 number is a deadly number. And the 4th of July is a deadly day. Of course, 3 of the first 5 U.S. presidents died on this day. They're saying at least 13 people are dead, at least 13 on the birthday of the nation that celebrates the 13 stripes and the 13 colonies. They're also saying 20 girls are missing from a camp along the river, a girls' camp that turned 99 years old this summer that's located on the 99th meridian. Of course, this country was named on 9/9, September 9th, and Gematria of the United States of America equals 99. We'll talk more about this as well. I almost felt like I should have been able to predict this as much as I've talked about Tupac and his death at 25, and here we are in 2025, and Tupac's death had everything to do with 74, and now the youngest member of the Outlaws, his rap group, is dead at 47 on the 4th of July on the 33rd parallel, and he supposedly deleted himself. Yeah, we'll talk more about that. But again, you guys, this is just why for people who it never dawned on them that the news is by the numbers. Um, like I said, it dawned on me after 9/11. You know, when the third building to fall that day was Building 7, 47 floors tall, each story 47,000 square feet. That was the building that fell 7 hours later in the day on 9/11. But anyway, ever since that day, it dawned on me that numbers are used ritualistically, and the news was full of seemingly number rituals if you just paid attention. Because stuff like this really does happen all the time. And, you know, the funny thing about this world is you point these things out to your friends and your family, and they start looking at you funny, like there's something wrong with you. Like, you don't think it's weird that he's dead at 47 on the 4th of July, huh? You just think, yeah, what do people say? They'll say things back like, kind of stuff happens, man. It happens all the time. It's the way the world is. I mean, sometimes numbers, you just see patterns. It's just like everybody has these same weird responses. Like in 25, when Tupac died at 25, we'll talk more about it. We're trying to pull people out of normieism. This story of Julian McMahon of the Fantastic Four. His death was saved for the 4th. He died 2 days ago. You know, he died on the real Independence Day. I think that's part of the joke, too, because Independence Day should really be celebrated on July 2nd. If you didn't know that, you should look up why. Independence Day should definitely be celebrated as July 2nd. It was the most notable day in the U.S. getting its independence. But, of course, the reason it's celebrated on July 4th is because of the secret societies that run this nation and the fact that in Gematria, Independence Day equals 74. But, yeah, July 2nd was the real day. Anyhow, Julian McMahon died July 2nd, but it's the news today on the 4th. The guy who was in Fantastic Four and played Doctor Doom, D for Doctor, D for Doom, D's the 4th letter, 4-4. There's a new Fantastic Four movie coming out this month. How many times have we seen this? Somebody's dead from a movie series as the new movie comes out. John Wick actor. Just the other day, it was the Lilo and Stitch actor. Here we go again. Man, these patterns happen, bruh. Patterns happen, bruh. People die, bruh. Yeah, we'll talk more about it. Not to mention he's dead from cancer in the time of cancer, and cancer is the fourth astrological sign to go with that Fantastic Four. We'll talk more about it. People keep asking me if I know about the National Blueprint for Biodefense, this document that came out in the fourth month, April 17, 2024, that theorizes biological weapons attack happens in the world that kills a lot of people, starting in the nation's capital on today, July 4th, 2025. Yeah, I know about. We talked about it a while back. Again, from the day that the document came out to today, on Fantastic Four, the 4th of July, it's 444 days. And I love how they called it the blueprint, right? Like, doesn't it remind you of Jay-Z with his 444 album? And the blueprint came out on the day 9/11 came down, or, the day September 11th happened. Jay-Z, the New York rapper, who was on Rockefeller Records, named after the Rockefellers who are responsible for the World Trade Centers. Yeah, Jay-Z's The Blueprint came out on September 11th, 2001. Oh! Anyway, all this 444 business, yeah, I'm very much aware. If you don't know how to get these values of 444, it's Sumerian gematria. It's just the alphabetic order times 6. So A is 6, B is 12, C is 18, D is 24, E is 30. All of these words with the alphabetic order equate to 74, like 7-4. Sumerian gematria, they all equate to 444. And what else is interesting is the document is 177 pages long. And I actually overlooked this when I first put this together. You can see that the document's 177 pages. It's dated April 17, 2024. We know now that had our country expeditiously implemented the 33 recommendations we made in that report, Cooties 19 would not have taken such a deadly toll. Yeah, we covered this. You can read about this on my website. Just come to GematriaEffectNews, search the National Blueprint for Biodefense. But here's the thing that I overlooked about it being 177 pages and starting on the 4th of July. Notice how 4th of July equates to 177, just like the Jesuit order. Anyway, speaking of the Jesuit order, here's one of their alumni, Donald Trump, who went to Fordham. 3.3 trillion on 7-4. Again, I've educated about this so many times. It's at the beginning of both of my books, Number Games and Letters and Numbers, how the Cabal just can't stop putting 33 and 74 together. Out of the most simple cipher, the alphabetic order, right? If you write out the names of all 50 states, and if you doubt this, just try it out yourself, you'll see that it's true. Only one equals 74, right? And it's the state that's abbreviated OR, and it's the 33rd state, Oregon. Oregon, the 33rd state, is the only one that equals 74, right? And, of course, when you think of 33, you might think of a lot of things, but one of them might be Jesus. Jesus crucified on the cross at 33 is the common belief. Jesus is 74, like cross, like Messiah, like gospel, like parables, right? Like Tupac's alias, Machiavelli, 74. And here we are in 7-4, and the member of his rap group, The Outlaws, is dead in 2025 when he died at 25, or at least so we're told. But yeah, again, the other thing is just about 74 and 33. It's those Masons. Masonic is 74. With the alphabetic order and numerology, Masonry is 33. It's like how holiday with the alphabetic order is 74, but Independence Day with the alphabetic order and numerology is 74. Independence Day. And it really should be 7-2. It'd be the most notable day that we declared our independence. But, yeah, again, just all these 74 words. Jesus, cross, Messiah, Jewish, parables, gospel. All those words obviously relate to Jesus. Who would have encoded that in the English language? Well, who other than the church that's responsible for the English language, the Catholic Church? And again, at the end of the 16th century, the Catholic Church's military, the Jesuits, implemented the calendar that says today's July 4, 2025, and they also standardized the English alphabet with the 26-letter alphabet we use today and implemented a system. And this system is used for these Kabbalistic rituals every single day. And obviously things have become a lot more advanced in this time as technology's progressed. And now they can pay tribute to history from centuries past with weather warfare like they're doing with the Texas Revolution as they wash away a town. Don't worry, they'll bring it back as a experimental 15-minute city. But yeah, again, killing is also 74. Think about what the cross represents. It was the way the Romans performed capital punishment. Again, gematria is about energy. Obviously, killing has a lot to do with energy, the way it manipulates people. You find out your loved ones are dead. The terror people will go through unless they get a painless, they didn't see it coming type of death. But anyway, all of these things really are related. And just remember, gematria itself is 74, like English, like occult. You want to add to that list. London, again, holiday. Holiday means holy day. Obviously, there are several for religions. So this all goes hand in hand. And yesterday I was showing how Masonic the ritual was of the delivery of the big beautiful bill. The Senate signed off on it on the first of the last 184 days of the year. The House signed off on it on the 184th day of the year. It's called One Big Beautiful Bill, officially 184. The Kill Bill actor was dead the day that the House passed it. I'm just going to quickly skip past a lot since we covered it in greater detail yesterday. The vote 218 to 214 couldn't be any more symbolic. But the Masonic part is that from the day it was introduced to the day that Trump put his John Hancock on it, 43 days later, Masonic 74 and 43. Mike Johnson's the 56th Speaker of the House. He was, had his face attached to this thing from start to finish. It gets signed 155 days after his birthday, the 56th Speaker of the House, whose name equals 56. But notice, Freemasons 155 and 56, also 43 days later. DC's the Masonic city. Washington, D.C.'s 56, like Society of Jesus. July 4th is on the 235th day of the leader of the Jesuits age, the Society of Jesus. Jesus 74, Romans 74, etc., etc. So, again, Freemasonry, many of the rites of Freemasonry written by Jesuit priests. The 32nd degree of the Scottish Rite shares the motto with the Jesuits in Marum Dei Gloriam. America equals 32, 7, 4, 1776 had 32 date numerology. 32 sun rays on the Jesuit Order's logo. And I can't think of the word right now that when the sun's like at its highest point in the sky, but that happens on July 4th too. And again, the Catholic Church began worshiping the sun in the sky, not the Son of God. But coming back, this terrible flood in Texas, just doing deeper research, just how they have to report at least 13 killed and 20 missing. I mean, is that not another 33, 13 and 20? I mean, give me a break. Here. Everyone had this from CNN to Fox. At least 13 have been killed and officials are searching for more than 20 children. So another... And you know what else actually I see in that number if you just put it together? Like 0 at the end doesn't count in numerology. United States of America, right? United States of America has that 132 rooms in the White House. We got our first term president, 132 years. From the Illuminati being founded to the United States being named was a span of 132 days. You put a "the" on it. The United States of America is 99, like this town that got wiped out. It's on the 99th meridian. And again, this girls' camp where at least 20 missing girls are. It's 99 years old this summer, established in 1926, the same year that Manly P. Hall published The Secret Teachings of All Ages, which reveals these 4 ciphers. And yeah, again, just looking into this town, Kerrville, named after James Kerr, a major in the Texas Revolution, right? So I thought, let's go back and look at the Texas Revolution. Okay, it ended on April 21st, Rome's birthday, in 1836. By the way, a lot of the stuff has said how the river could increase 36 feet. It's Friday, you guys, just for the record. Friday's the 36th day of the week. Friday, 36 forwards and backwards, also 99 for this town on the 99th meridian. But yeah, the Alamo happened in, February of 1836. But yeah, look at that. From the end date to today, 74 days on 7/4, when 74 is the 52nd composite number. The town's named after this man, Kerr, which equals 52, like flood, like earth, like Enlil. Again, Enlil's the Babylonian god of floods. You can see all of the overlap with flood, earth, Enlil, and Kerr. You can see that flood's also 20. Today's date numerology is 56. The paths are 56 and 20. It's like the Nip Tuck actor announced dead at 56 today. The big beautiful bill, which we just talked about. Mike Johnson. But yeah, at least 20 missing. Remember, climate change equals 56, and a lot of people think this is what it really is when it's actually weather warfare. But the word revolution is also 52. If you're new here, remember the first act of weather warfare was admitted to in 52 on the Jesuit order's birthday, August 15th, the Lynmouth flood. Killed 30-some people. A military experiment gone awry. And again, Flood Earth and then all 83 in reverse. Again, the 4 base ciphers here. Alphabetic order, reverse alphabetic order, both orders with numerology applied. But the river, the Guadalupe River that's flooded, equates to 83. Hold on, before I skip ahead. Just for you Texas people, just so you guys can understand how long I've been educating about this. This article was written about me back in 2017 by Vice News. Wacko YouTuber approves World Series is rigged. We'd proved it many times before. This should have been written several years in advance. And this article should have been written every single year because almost every year, literally almost every year, we've nailed the World Series from spring training. Almost every single year I've been here. Going back, and my first World Series prediction was for the 111th World Series, why it's going to be the New York Mets representing the NL. I wasn't sure they're going to win. And I didn't see, if I was a little bit more, for the 100, you guys, New York equals 111, and who won the 111th World Series over New York when the World Series ended on November 1st after Matt Harvey's 111th pitch? With Eric Hosmer stepping to the plate with the 111 batting average. Who won it? The Royals in the time of the Queen, born on the 111th day of the year. But anyway, we've done a lot of damage. And just so you know, the Mets paid 40-1 just to be in the World Series, just to win the NL pennant that year. They weren't some easy call. And don't forget, Matt Harvey, who that whole season was synced with, was also the first pitcher to pitch in Houston after Harvey flooded. And that's what this article is about. That reminds me. They even picked this guy, Sean Newell, to write the article, and his name equals 52. His name equals 52, but that's what they're making fun of. My research on weather warfare and 52 and flooding. Because again, Matt Harvey was the first pitcher to pitch in Houston 52 days before Game 1 of the World Series. Harvey flooded Houston on the 239th day of the year, which is the 52nd prime, which was a date with 52 numerology that year. It was also the 27th anniversary of Stevie Ray Vaughan's death, who had the best-selling album Texas Flood. But again, I'm just making the point. I've been covering this topic to death about 52 and flooding for so long. And, now it's this. A town named after this Kerr. And on 7-4, and you know what? Years ago, we weren't looking at composite numbers. This is something that's come into the community in the last year. And I got to send a shout out to Zenith of the Alpha, even though... anyway, it's Zenith of the Alpha who really had the observation about composite numbers. And now we got people like Dave, who's calling the Patreon every day, trying to learn his composite numbers. And yeah, there is definitely something to him. 74, like 7-4 is the 52nd composite. Again, words like Cabala equals 74 and 52 in the base ciphers, and these people are using Cabala. That's where this whole thing of letters and numbers comes from for all of these rituals. Keep in mind, fire and flood equal 25. It's been a bad year for both. But yeah, the Texas Revolution, the hurricanes. A day that I'm fully expecting a hurricane to hit this year is September 25th, the anniversary of JFK's weather control speech, the day leaving 97 days left in the year. Last year it happened. Last year it formed, the devastating hurricane. It could be the same thing too. It could form on the day rather than hit, but I'll be shocked if we don't have hurricane news again on September 25th. It's the day leaving 97 days. Again, 97 is the 25th prime. It's been a major pattern all year. There'll be plenty of hurricanes besides that, but I'm suspecting a whopper then. And also, don't be surprised if they pay tribute to Hurricane Andrew, because that did happen 33 years ago. Could even end up being on the same dates. But yeah, September 25th, 1961 was when JFK gave the speech about the future of weather control. And remember, the Air Force in the 90s, they put out the document about owning the weather by 2025. So here we are. But yeah, here's another big piece. Texas Revolution, 185. Today's the 185th day of the year. What a day to pay tribute. Texas Revolution's also 67 like water. So using a flood to pay tribute to this event. The date can be written 4-7 like 47. 47 is the 15th prime. Texas does equal 15 forwards, 30 in reverse. And this town is on the 30th parallel north, 99th meridian in the United States of America, 99. And this Camp Mystic with the missing girls, at least 20, is 99 years old. Again, definitions of mystic: a person who seeks by contemplation and self surrender to obtain unity with or absorption into the deity or the absolute, or who believes in the spiritual apprehension of truths that are beyond the intellect. That sounds like a definition that just ties in so perfectly with Cabala. Cabala is about trying to, well, there's two halves to Cabala. It's again, for people who don't know, I mean, people read the Bible and they don't even know what they're reading, but they believe wholeheartedly in it, right? How many people have just read right by this verse and didn't even know what they were reading, right? They just read this right at the beginning and they had no idea what they were actually reading about. And the Lord God said, the man is now become like one of us, knowing good and evil. He must not be allowed to reach out his hand and eat and take also from the tree of life and eat and live forever. Again, the tree of life is the physical model for Cabala. And there's a good half and an evil half. The good half is about essentially kind of like that quote, trying to understand and the way Creator works, be more aligned with Creator, live a better existence. That's like what the good half is about. Somebody will just hear Cabala and like, oh, that's some evil crap. That's not Christianity. Cabala has been adopted into all the spiritualities, for the record, but that's an ignorant point of view. Again, just accumulating knowledge and trying to find truth in the world. There's nothing evil about it, and a lot of these, there is a true connection between the word religion and retard, and most religious people are retarded in the sense that they're stunted and they don't want to know things and they want to have a limited worldview and just believe in the stuff that they were told as a child and have these simple-minded ideas. If I just believe this story and this is true, and I go to church every now and then, and I drink his body and his blood and go through all the motions and show up on maybe Easter and Christmas at least once a decade, I'll go to the eternal afterlife. Again, that is just such a lame spiritual existence. It's pathetic, really. Again, trying to find out the truth of the world, that's noble. But yeah, this is a reference to Cabala, because the evil half of the Tree of Life is about using the Kabbalistic knowledge for sorcery and spell casting and having influence over others. And no doubt this is what the Cabal does. Again, that's why the news is this way every day, Kabbalistically contrived and encoded. And is magic real? And sometimes I wonder, it's like, I know they have all this advanced technology, but really, if you go back through history and look at like some of the devastating, unprecedented weather things that happened hundreds of years ago, you're going to start to see some of the same patterns. So that's when you got to go, well, what is really going on then? If this was happening before technology in similar patterns, is black magic real? The more I've looked at this, here, to make a point about this 322 thing, again, to remind you guys, Cabal is part of the ancient mystery religions, right? Which is 322. And Genesis is the beginning of the Abrahamic religions, which is 322. And, powerful secret society modeled after the Illuminati. Skull and Bones calls itself Order 322. They like to instigate war between the Abrahamic religions. Skull and Bones does. And hold on. Let something slip out of my mind that shouldn't have slipped out. Oh, yeah, the founder of the Illuminati. He died on the 322nd day of the year, November 18th, 1830. But yeah, just about Cabala. Again, Cabala has the 52 connection. Gematria has the 52 and 74 connection. Tree of Life has the 52 connection. Also the 56, like today's date numerology. Etzat Chaim is the Jewish word for the Tree of Life. It also has the 52 and 56. Etzat Chaim also has the 178 like Cabala. Remember the Mr. Beast trainer just died at 38, and in the article they had to mention some 178 days. The guy he was training completed the thing, and again, not an accident. Mr. Beast, who's now married to the Mark children, and that was announced on the 47 date numerology, January 1st, 2025, that he's engaged to the author of the Mark children, Mr. Beast. The mark of the beast, biblical. Here is wisdom, how to count the number of the beast. And remember, Trump does run on the highest degree of the Church of Satan, mega, and Obama told us he'd become number 45 on the Church of Satan's 45th birthday, April 30th, 2011, at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. For all the Christians out there that think Trump is some kind of sent by God Messiah type. No, you're under some serious delusion. He's a lot closer to the Antichrist than anything else. A little bit more on the word mystic in light of these girls being from Camp Mystic. The word mystic originates from the Greek word mystikos, meaning secret or mysterious, and is related to mystes, which refers to someone initiated into secret religious rites. These rites, called mysteria in Greek, involved purification, sacrifices, and other rituals. Ultimately, again, we have at least 20 girls missing from Camp Mystic. Ultimately, the term mystic connects to the concept of hidden or concealed knowledge, particularly within the context of religious or spiritual practices. Sounds like a bunch of conspiracy theories. Yeah, James Kerr, who this town is named after, he died at 60. I find that interesting in light of all the 60 stuff going on with Trump right now. And from his birthday anniversary, or from today to his upcoming birthday anniversary, is 83 days. Again, remember, all these 83 connections. Flood, Earth, Enlil. Genesis 8:3, where the biblical flood ends. The river that flooded today, 83. 83 days from his birthday anniversary. Again, this is the man who the town is named after that got devastated today. You know, that brush junkie lady who's trying to figure out what's going on with weather warfare, but's clueless. She can see that something is wrong, but she's clueless about it, and it seems like she wants to stay in the clueless lane because I know she's aware of the 2 videos I now made for her, and she doesn't want to talk about this. So it's like, what, did she watch it and think all this stuff's stupid? Because in both those videos, I educated about this pattern of 83 and flooding. Here's another example. I'm not even going to reach out and notify her a third time. I just get tired of trying to share this information with other channels who are looking for answers, who don't have the answers, when we've had them for a long time, and I wrote a book about it nearly a decade ago. People do not accept this information, and that's part of the perfect reason why the Cabal would operate this way too. Because even if it's shown to somebody, their mind is still not capable of accepting it. And that's from all the layers of indoctrination and damage that's been done to almost everyone's programmed minds. But, you know, for some people it does work. For all you guys who understand it, you know, I guess feel at least decent enough to realize that your mind is superior to almost everyone else's. It is inferior minds that do not grasp this elementary code that is being used to mock us. And again, read Albert Pike's Morals and Dogma. When he gets into Cabala, he talks about how simple it is, but how profound. Doesn't it make so much sense? All of this stuff is simple. This is simple addition. But it is profound to realize it's like, wow, they are doing this. They are doing this day after day and getting away with it too. I have a few other notes here. Again, 4th of July does equal 177, like weather control. It is 74 days later on 7/4, as we covered. If you counted the span, it would become 75, which is another weather control number. It's also a new world order and it's another special number. It's an order out of chaos number. But yeah, hey, Vice News, long overdue for a follow-up. We've only killed 1 million more World Series since you wrote your last article. And how many more times have I covered 52 in weather warfare? You think we would have got some coverage of the year where we put out the video in the spring of all the 52 dates in hurricane season, and on every single one of those dates, a hurricane made landfall except for one, and the one where it didn't make landfall, it formed in the ocean? I was hoping I'd get another wacko YouTuber article. And remember when USA Today's Big Lead wrote the story about me, they also referred to me as a wacko YouTuber. It's like, I guess that's the programming language. The USA Today article was written in January of 2016 for blowing open the Super Bowl and calling everything dead on, from what 2 teams it would be to who the winner would be to what would happen at halftime to who would be the MVP of the game, all called in week 3 of that season. Peyton over Cam Newton. Von Miller drafted 1 pick after Cam Newton, the MVP. Von Miller, number 58. Cam Newton, the 58th quarterback to start in the Super Bowl. Huey P. Newton, 58, the founder of the Black Panthers in the Bay Area where the Super Bowl was. Beyonce dressed up as a Black Panther at halftime. Again, Huey P. Newton died the same year Cam Newton was born. Cam Newton born on the 131st day of the year. Huey P. Newton dead on the day, leaving 131 days left in the year. Huey P. Newton and Super Bowl also equal 131. It's how planned out it is. Born and bred to be. Cam Newton, someone with superior genetics, a walking Marvel comic, Cam Newton. He looked like a statue. Anyway, yeah, this right here is just like the Cabal just, man, just maybe the Cabal there like an octopus. They don't just have two middle fingers up. They got a whole bunch of tentacles with their middle fingers up. Do you guys remember the other year when the rapper with the 47 tattooed on his face and the 47 painted on his car shot up that area outside of Chicago where they filmed Ferris Bueller's Day Off? Do you remember that? And then recently he just got sentenced to prison in a 47 ritual, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, if you forgot that, it was a few years back, but it was a big 47 ritual on the 4th of July. This is as blatant as that. It's maybe even more blatant. Again, the self-deletion word, SUICIDE 47, that's what they're saying happened here. And it happened in Atlanta on the 33rd parallel. His rap name, Young Noble, equals 130 like human sacrifice. His birth name, Rufus Lee Cooper III, equals 206 like sacrifice, like the 206 bones in the human body. And in light of him being connected to Tupac, remember Tupac's alias was Machiavelli. This album was rushed out after his death. It was put out on Remember the 5th of November, the day the Jesuits tried to blow up King James. But Tupac, 74, like Machiavelli, like rapper, like rhymes, like songs, like Jesus, like cross, like killing, like Masonic, like Gematria, like English, like the rest of the list. And remember, Tupac died on September 13th, at least so we're told. That's Caesar Borgia's birthday, where white Jesus comes from. Caesar Borgia, the son of a pope, who white Jesus is modeled after. Machiavelli is a play on Machiavelli, who wrote The Prince, based on Caesar Borgia. And remember, when Prince the musician died on 4/21, Rome's birthday, the Queen's birthday, he had the hit song recorded 33 years prior, I Would Die For You, with the number 4 and the letter U. Used the 21st letter. He died on 4/21. But right after Prince's death on May 3rd, which is the real Machiavelli's birthday, that was the day the news broke that Tupac's mom had died. Tupac's mom's announced dead on the real Machiavelli's birthday. If you look, she died May 2nd, but there was no news about it until the next day, May 3rd. Covered it then. Back in 2016, we've been talking about these things for that long. Again, just blatant. And with regards to the real Machiavelli's birthday being May 3rd, 5/3, the Machiavelli album came out 53 days after Tupac's supposed death. And don't forget that Tupac was shot on Eazy-E's birthday, who died 201 days after his birthday, another big Jesuit thing. And it's all synced up with Ice Cube's Lethal Injection album. And they say Eazy-E got pricked with a needle, and then next thing you knew, he had the AIDS, which is also connected to Fauci, just like Cootie's 19. It's a whole nother story, but the whole Event 201 simulation. These are all things in books I haven't finished that I should have. Again, you guys, a lot of times when I wake up in the morning, I just think, yeah, maybe the books won't sell, but maybe I just need to finish the damn things anyway and get them out there so that the next time they flush and wipe the internet and everything's deleted and there's nothing left in the digital record, for any souls out there who did get the books, they have a chance to pass on the work. Because I got to finish the 38 Special Dead Rappers book. I need to finish my 201 book. And I mean, in a lot of ways, I'm not motivated because I don't have any publishers out there that want to help me out with this. And it is expensive to self-publish, especially now with all the prices climbing. And now that I can't really reach an audience or new people, I already know. I shouldn't say that because I guess I'm manifesting bad things, but in all likelihood, the books would not sell very well, especially in this age where people only have time for TikTok. But yeah, still, like I said, just getting it down in a written record for people who can hold the information. Again, it might take a century for this information to reach the right people. If we're still going in a century, you just never know. Maybe by then it'll be all robots. The robots will have officially replaced us. It'll be like Terminator. Only John Connor's left and his mom. But anyway, just, yeah, all these sick jokes, man. It just, now, again, here we are on 7/4 or 4/7. How do you want to write it? And see that, just my trolls too. Zach will write the date 7/4 or he'll write it 4/7. Talk about cherry picking. And so people are saying these things. I'm like, Aren't I always showing how like both ways with the date is the ritual constantly? Constantly. I mean, what don't we get here? What don't we get here? Tupac's associate from the Outlaws is now dead at 47 on the 4th of July in 25 when Tupac died at age 25. Remember this one too from last year on Tupac's death anniversary? Michaela the Prince, again, Machiavelli the Prince. She dies on Tupac's death anniversary. And she was born. Hold up. Where's her birthday at? No, I'm forgetting something. Did I put it in this post? I might not have had it. God, it might have been like a Twitter update I did. There was something about this girl in June 16th, which is Tupac's birthday. I don't think I had it in my initial post. By the way, her name, Da Prince, is 74, like ballerina, which is what she was. Yeah, it's just talk about these same things 1,000 times. By the way, Tupac's got the 6174 connection, just like Jesus and Cross. Now, there was something about this girl in June 16th, which is Tupac's birthday. Or hold up. Maybe it's coming back to me. Let me measure something real quick. She was born the year before Tupac died. Let me figure out what it was that I forgot to write down. I probably did a Twitter update, and of course, my Twitter got wiped out at the beginning of this year. The scumbag censorship from this chump administration again. Let's see. That's what it was. From her birthday to Tupac's death is 616 days. Like his birthday is June 16th. Some people say 616 is the real 666. And don't forget, Tupac's in the Scarface song Smile on the Cross as well. Do you remember how they did? Scarface was one of the first people with Cooties 19 as well, too. Remember when everything was 56? It made it seem like Scarface was about to die. And some of his affiliates are dead, of course. He's still ticking. I do like Scarface, though. I hate to be a hater, but just seeing that these guys are all part of this is kind of, it is disappointing. The song with him on the cross came out 153 days after his death. Jesuit order, the Illuminati, both 153. Something else. Yeah, so anyway, I put these posts up, and again, I reminded about how, Interscope Records is run by Catholic, Jesuit-educated men. Perfect Rituals with his records with Interscope, Tupac and his death. Dead 58 months after his first album with Interscope, Tupac Amaru Shakur, 58. Caesar Borgia, 58. Dead on Caesar Borgia's birthday. Yeah, we covered all this stuff in the past. From Tupac's birthday to his death, 89 days. Interscope Records, 89. That's the gospel, right? 89 chapters. 89 chapters. Do you guys believe in fate? I got to check to see if it's been broken. What's the coldest temperature ever recorded? Let me see. It's still that day. We're coming up on the anniversary. It's going to be 42 years ago. You guys know who was born on that day, right? Born on July 21st, 1983. The number guy. What's his name? Number 89. What's his name? Is his name Zachary Keith Hubbard, or is it YouTube wacko? Yeah, I do look at that and say, yeah, it's kind of funny, man. It's kind of funny that my full name is 89 and number's 89. I was born on that day, record day, negative 89 Celsius. Destined to solve the numbers. But yeah, also, Ted Fields of Interscope Records, he died 104 days after his birthday. Tupac Amaru Shakur, like Roman Catholic Church. Co-founder of Interscope. All right. Let's keep it moving. Let's make sure we're still connected here. Yeah, we're still connected. All right. This Nip Tuck Fantastic Four actor Julian McMahon. Now, again, he died 2 days ago, July 2nd, which should be the real Independence Day. If you look into U.S. history, that's really the day that would make the most sense to be declared Independence Day. But they saved it for the day that we celebrate as Independence Day, July 4th. Again, he was in the Fantastic Four. He's dead in the time of Cancer, from Cancer, the fourth astrological symbol. And a new Fantastic Four movie comes out on the 25th of July. Could be written 257, blood sacrifice equals 257. He died 25 days before his birthday. His birthday is July 27th. Died 2 days before his birthday. And keep in mind, that day can be written 27-7. Independence Day does equal 277 as well for them saving the news for this day. But they saved the news for 25 days before his birthday. He was in the Fantastic Four that came out in 2005, also came out in July. Again, the new movie comes out on the 25th. You could also say that from the day that he died to his upcoming birthday, if you count July 2nd, here, some people struggle with this. July 2nd to 2025 to July 27th, 2025, what would have been his 57th birthday. Again, it's 25 days later, but if you count the span, it's also a span of 26 days. And the 26 is interesting because Cancer does equal 26. And also 44, like it's the fourth sign. Remember, chemo's 44, and they say if the cancer doesn't kill you, the chemo will and kills 44. Fateful patterns. And this guy had a four-part name to boot. Julian Dana William McMahon. I noticed his character in Nip Tuck, Dr. Christian Troy. I never seen that show. But it's got the 201 and 84, like the Jesuit order has the 201 and 84. And also has the 177, like 4th of July. Again, he was 56. They saved the news for 56 date numerology. Society of Jesus equals 56. They got to tell you he died in Clearwater, Florida. If you'd write it like how you would for an envelope, it's got the 5274 thing going. So, yeah, and again, people keep asking me if I know about the National Blueprint. We covered this a couple weeks back or so. I covered this at the beginning of the stream, but just one more time. The document for it came out in the fourth month, April 17th. From the day it came out to it targeting the date July 4th, 2025. Again, this is about a simulation of a bioweapons attack on the nation's capital and other places, killing hundreds of thousands of people starting today, July 4th, 2025. That's what happens in the simulation. But from it coming out to the target date is 444 days on the 4th. Again, in Sumerian gematria, killings 444, like holiday, like Masonic, like all these things. Everything that is 74 becomes 444 in Sumerian because Sumerian is just multiplying the alphabetic order times 6. And again, the document's 177 pages. The simulation was on 17/4. New World Order is 174, like 17th of April, and 177. And again, 4th of July is also 177. And just Jay-Z, Blueprint, 444 album. It could be a coincidence, but I don't know. Part of me goes, seems like it's probably a coincidence, but maybe not. You just never know. Never know. Is there a deeper Jay-Z joke? And yeah, a lot of people keep asking me if I know about Detachment 201. We covered this when it happened. And Detachment 201 was announced on June 13th, the day leaving 201 days left in the air. This goes right along with my book, Number Games, where I wrote about how 201 is, the Jesuit code, and it's from the military to big tech, which makes sense because the Jesuits are a military order. The internet's credited to the military. Why wouldn't these things be one and the same, hand in hand? And they are. Once you learn the Kabbalistic code, you see who's running all these supposed platforms. Google just couldn't be any more Jesuit. They celebrate their birthday on the day the Jesuits were recognized by the Roman Catholic Church. The head of Google is Sundar Pichai, 201. He did those mass layoffs on the 201st day of the nation's age a few years back, 20/1. He did it through email, which equals 95. Like, the Jesuits. Google celebrates its birthday on the day, leaving 95 days left in the year. The day in history, the Jesuits were recognized by the Roman Catholic Church to counter Martin Luther and the 95 Theses, not to be confused with Martin Luther King Jr., who was killed on the 95th day of the year. And then the nation's first gun control legislation came 201 days later. Like Martin Luther penned the 95 Theses, and the Jesuits were credited 201 months later. But yeah, anyway, I got to go spend time with the fam. I wasn't supposed to do another stream tonight, but this stuff's important, and it needs to get out. And there needs to be. It's just too bad that imagine if humanity was more ruled by truth than money. Just imagine what would happen. The whole world would change in a snap of fingers. I guarantee you there's a lot of people in the world that would like to help out with this, but they know it would screw up what they have going on YouTube or whatever platform they're on. Oh no, I'm in the money right now. I can't do that. I got to look out for me and my family. And that's why, the Jewish guy who called in the other day, who I just had to rush off the phone and hang up, you call in and say the same stuff every time. It's not that I don't hear what you're saying, but every time it's not the same. Like, Zach, man, like all you can really do is just worry about your family and wear like clean cotton and put nice oils on your face. I like all that, but I also disagree. If all you do is focus on your family, what kind of world does your family grow up in after X amount of time goes on where nobody did anything about the evil ruling over the world? How about the families whose daughters just got washed away today at Camp Mystic? So... But yeah, thank you, Leper Messiah. Thank you, Intuitive Solution times 2. 2 times 2 for 4 on the 4th. Leper Messiah again got us up to 7 in the 7th month. He's like, come on, everyone, donate $1. I always say that, man. Imagine if people just donated $1 every time I live stream. We could get GematriaEffectNews up and rolling. John Mendoza says today from January 20th is 201 days. Hold on. Oh yeah, to the next January 20th. I see, to the next January 20th. Yeah, that is interesting. Oh yeah, of course. That's why January 20th is the 201st day of the nation's age. Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's what we always say, right? That's why Inauguration Day got moved to 20/1. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, John Mendoza. Raul Alonso said, Raul Alonso Jimenez equals 249, and he could score Sunday because the USA is 249 years old. I'm guessing that's is that an international football player? Does he play for an American team? Because, yeah, the country did turn 249. And I guess just one more time to be super redundant. Again, you guys, here's what's wild about the country turning 249 years old and being a nation of people ruled over by money. This thing on the dollar bill, the Novus Ordo Seclorum under the pyramid with the all-seeing eye. Remember, all-seeing eye equals 56. Today has 56 date numerology. But Novus Ordo Seclorum equals 249. That's how old the country is. And that phrase was put on the dollar bill in 1935, which was 90 years ago. And Novus Ordo Seclorum means a new order of the ages, which equals 90 forwards and backwards. Is the big, beautiful bill, which makes us more of a militaristic powerhouse. Are we finally reaching the new order of the ages status with the first $1 trillion military budget? Be less handouts, less breadline type of crap. You better get in the new world order mercenary killing force. There's more brown people out there to bomb on, more resources under their feet to steal. Be all you can be in the new world order mercenary USA American killing force. Where's your flags at? All right, Truth Seeker, we'll leave it there for now. Or, maybe you'll end up in a U.S. city pointing guns at fellow Americans because they want to protest their government. What happened to no standing armies? What happened to no taxation on income? This country's nothing like what it was supposed to be. How come nobody cares? Because everything's too easy. Everyone's still too comfortable. Like Public Enemy said, what you gonna do when the grid goes down? And again, you guys, I mean, it's only a matter, like Janet Napolitano said when she left office in August of 2013, stepping down from the Department of Homeland Security. Said this. She said the next 9/11 is not if but when, and we already know what it is. It's the power grid going down for the nation. 8:05. I need to get off, but you wanted to call in real quick. What is it?
Yeah, I just had a couple questions. I've been watching you for a few years, and I've been trying to wake my family up, and they just ask this one question that I don't know the answer to, and it's that why do they do all these rituals? Do they actually get power from this? Is it just to like mind control? What's like the reasoning behind that?
Well, again, it is black magic from the dark half of Cabala, and it seems that they do have almost everybody under mind control. I don't know how anyone who's awake couldn't see that. A lot of people aren't awake, so I can understand why
Yeah,
they don't see it. And do they get power from it? Here, you've heard me. Obviously, if you've been watching for 2 years, I bring up the Genesis three
yeah.
two two. Uh, just to remind you guys about two weird things in sports that really do seem like black magic that anybody can go back and verify, and they both have to do with 322. Alex Smith, a handful of years back, it was the 322nd day of the year, and his leg was snapped in half on the 33-yard line by J.J. Watt, who has a March 22nd 322 birthday. And not only was it snapped on this yard mark, but it was 33 years to the day of Joe Theismann snapping his leg on the same spot on the field. And then after the game, they asked Joe Theismann about how weird that was. And he said, well, here's why it's even weirder. I have a nephew named Alex Smith.
Oh
So,
my gosh.
yeah, go back and look that up. And there's even more to it, but there was just a lot of 322 and 33 there. And keep in mind the word magic equals 33, right? This is like some kind of weird sorcery. So that's one thing. And then another one with the same number in sports is down on the 33rd parallel. The Phoenix Suns owner, Jerry Colangelo, his wife, it was a Phoenix Suns game. Jerry Colangelo, again, the owner of the Phoenix Suns, his wife was sitting courtside with a white t-shirt on, but it had a big print of Steve Nash, former player of the Suns, with a big, bloody, broken nose. Really weird t-shirt to wear. And then that night, the same game, their star player, Devin Booker, they had to blow the whistle and the game dead at right at 322 as his nose got broken and blood was all over his face. And you can watch the replay. It happens right at 322. The way the ball bounces makes this horrible collision happen. And lo and behold, their new star player gets his nose broken with 322 on the clock. Um,
Wow.
so yeah, you look at these
I,
things and you're like, okay, even if you like rehearse that to pull it off so perfectly, I
yeah.
mean, and it doesn't look rehearsed when you watch it. So to me, I'd say those are two. And I'm sure there's other examples out there, but those are just two I know of that are both about 322 and 33 in sports that are just, I don't know what else you could say about it, especially when you're aware of what these numbers mean.
And are the players like aware of this? Do they participate? Or I know
I don't know.
this is
I don't know the answer to that question.
yeah,
I'd say people like LeBron are aware. I mean, go back and listen to LeBron's
yeah,
interview with JJ Redick from last year, just before Redick became the coach of the Lakers. JJ Redick asked him, "What's the secret to having such a long, successful career?" And LeBron said, "You have to sacrifice your loved ones." And JJ Redick was like, "What? Do you want to clarify? Do you want to say
wow,
that again?" And LeBron just says it again. He goes, "You got to sacrifice your loved ones." So.
wow.
And I
I
mean,
have to
if
look
you've been
that up.
following, you've only been following for 2 years, but if people have been following for the whole 10 years, we talked about a lot of deaths connected to LeBron. As soon as he showed up in
Yeah,
LA, within just a few days of being in LA, two UCLA basketball players are both dead in 67 rituals when blood sacrifice and human sacrifice equals 67. And so does the word king. And there's a lot more besides that, but that I'll always remember that example because, like, God, he just comes to LA and just two UCLA players are just dead like that. I mean, come on, man.
yeah. No. That's one thing I argue with them about is that you can't just believe everything is a coincidence. It's too much. Like there's just too many for it to
That's
all
the
of this
that's the
be
spell though.
random.
That's the spell that almost everyone in America is under. The coincidence. Everything's a coincidence.
Yeah, yeah. And one of my family members, it's the Kennedy and Lincoln, or what was the other president? Kennedy and Lincoln have like a bunch of these
Yeah. That's the Jordan
similarity,
Maxwell
like
thing. Jordan Maxwell does all the parallels with the Kennedy and Lincoln assassinations and them happening 100 years apart and being
yeah,
elected 100 years apart. And
yeah,
yeah. Yeah.
which which could have been like also, I don't know, not a coincidence.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not a coincidence. And the other thing is did they even really die? Because Lincoln happened in a theater. They chased Oswald through the theater. Supposedly, the Zapruder film made by a Freemason wasn't even visible. Nobody could make out any of that footage until it was updated and enhanced in the 90s, 30 years later.
Yeah.
We're lied to about a lot of things too. That's the other thing. So
My last question: would multiple, like, I always think, okay, is like Putin in on this as well, or like
oh
wouldn't
yeah,
he want to
absolutely.
expose?
Yeah, Biden and Putin met 201 days after the first ever Jesuit Ignatian year began on Pearl Harbor Day, just before the whole war popped off. I mean, yeah. Again, go back and watch Putin's interview with Tucker Carlson. What did he start off? He started by saying how it all goes back to the history of the Catholic Church and the Orthodox Church, and that's everything that's going on today in the world. So,
Oh, okay. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate all your work, and yeah.
all right, all right, yeah. You have a good night. All right, take care.
Thanks.
All right, I do have to get off, you guys. I went way longer than I was supposed to. So, thank you again to the people who sent over super chats. Thank you to everyone who hit the like. There's about 300 people in here, and we have 144 likes. If everybody could hit the like on the way out, it would help this video reach some new people. If you think this knowledge needs to reach people, by the way, some of you guys somebody sent me an email that said they don't hit the like because they're worried about getting tracked. If that's you out there, do you think sending me an email probably gets you tracked in some database if you're worried about hitting a like on my video? I mean, you don't think that the tracking, you don't think like they see that you're watching the video in the first place? What, you're worried if you hit the like button, it's going to hurt your social credit score in the future? We got to have enough courage to hit the like button. All right, anyway, I do got to get off. And until next time, True Seeker.